Welcome to all the high vibrational beings of love and light. Tonight, we're going to talk about spiritual warfare and gang stalking as it pertains to your family. Recently, I had some very interesting information that I heard and found out about. I've had a couple of days to let it soak in, and now it's time to release a message. First of all, I'd like to just start off by saying that one of my missions on this planet and in this lifetime is that I'm a spiritual warrior. And I am a spiritual warrior at this point that knows her power and calls judgment when necessary. So any attempts at, any spiritual warfare that any low vibrational energy wants to attempt to try to put my direction, it's hilarious and good luck, because it'll only turn out bad for you. Because not only do I understand my power, but my spirit team has got my back, my front, and my sides. Top, bottom, all over the place. They're everywhere. I've got a big team that takes care of me. And I take care of them. Because of the fact that I was gang stalked outside of my family 7, 8 years ago now, I have learned and matured to the point where I don't react. I don't have to react in the same way that I did back then, because I did not understand what was happening and I didn't know my power back then. So let's get into what I found out first, and then I'm going to break this down, because really what the whole point of this is tonight is I'd like to just remind everybody, if you're up leveling right now, which I am, and I am just about to receive extreme wealth, health, and inheritance, which is why my spiritual attacks have been extreme. As you all know, I've been dealing with some personal health issues right now. A lot of that is spiritual warfare. And like I say, I'm handling it. It's what we have to do. I always learn to alchemize mine. So it ends up becoming something that I can use as a weapon in the future, and learn how to not only help and heal in myself, but learn how to help others heal in that way as well. So it's like, thank you. I got another skill I can put under my belt. You're only making it better for me. So you're not like, sometimes it does take you time to get through it, but that's okay. There is no time, right? So the thing that I heard a couple of days ago that I've had to let soak in was the fact that apparently my mother, who I emancipated a year ago, reached out to one of my subscribers. Interesting, right? Why? First of all, what the fuck? Why? Why? And why? How was the other question that I had, because I did not know my mom was savvy in that way at all. Because this particular subscriber, I don't even know that person's last name. I don't know that person's phone number. I don't even know exactly where this person lives, And yet, my mom supposedly reached out to this person and had a conversation that was apparently very disturbing for this person. And I mean, sure. However, I don't know the details at this point on what was said, which that brings up a whole different thing, but I'm not going to focus on that part right now. I'm going to focus on what occurs in gang stalking as far as the types of blocks that spiritual warfare and or people that are gang stalking will attempt to do when a chosen awakened soul tries to reach out and tries to make connection with other people that are part of your soul tribe. Because as we all know, we are more powerful in numbers. We are powerful as we are in ourselves once we remember who we are and remember our power. But so that's scary enough for the low vibrational energies and the powers that were and and dysfunctionally toxic people that could be in your family apparently too, which could be the people who are leading all this potentially. And that's another whole fucked up freaky point to this, is what I will eventually get at here. So in gang stalking in general, gang stalking 101, one of the things that they're going to always do is isolate you, right? That's the goal. If you're not already isolated, they're going to make sure that you don't have anybody that you can reach out to for support, whether it be emotional, financial. They want to scare the shit out of you. They want to mind manipulate you and control you and gaslight you. And, if you have other people that can help you and, just be a sounding board for the insanity that's occurring around you, that they're creating, all the chaos around you that they're creating on purpose to make you feel like you're going crazy and all this. That's what they want it to, they want you to feel. And I mean, it's tactic. It's 101. Look it up online. Read, there's plenty of books and information out there about this. So this is what occurred to me, and I got to experience this 7 years ago when the con man dated me, and then I was gang stalked for 2.5 years after he attempted to kill me in a car accident. And then they attempted to isolate me to potentially human traffic me at that point and or kill me. It's going to be one of the two. But I was too strong, and my spirit team was not going to let that happen either. And so I was able to skirt away from that. But what had occurred in that initial time period is they just slowly kept taking people out. Like, I had already had my family out of the picture, so they were like, cool, that's easy. Now it's just a matter of pulling out these people that she has as friends within her life that she would reach out for support. So anybody that I would reach out to for support, they would intercept phone calls, and they impersonate you, or they'll impersonate your friend to you to make it look like they're abandoning you. And or if they impersonate you to the friend, they're making it seem like you're, either all messed up and on drugs or mentally ill or whatever it is they want to go ahead and say to them. So they're giving some sort of interference, some static, some untrue story. And part of hacking 101 is knowing how to easily get into your cell phones and redirect communication and or impersonate. This is, reverse engineering, social engineering, all this. There's lots of books out there that you can read about this. And so this was occurring for me when I was being gang stalked after the con man and after I realized who he was, and we stopped dating. And, and then that happened. And so one night, because I had mentioned I had not been talking to my family, and this is, discussed in my timeline. If you go back and look at those videos, feel free. I recommend it. They are long, and I am new at speaking to the camera, so I know I'm a little awkward, and I'm still a little awkward, but I am learning, so hopefully I'm getting a little bit better. But I got to a point where I heard a gunshot go off outside my window one night, and I break down. And even though I hadn't been talking to my family, my choice at that time, because they hadn't told me about my grandpa dying until 2 weeks after they had buried him. And him and I were really close. And so I was pissed and said, I guess they don't really want to help me. And this is where I choose to separate myself from my family and I go on my healing journey. And this is where I start my 6 years away from them of healing. Well, a total of like 8 to 10 for some family members, but I start like this 6 years of healing. Because 3 of those first years were the con man and the gang stalkers. So I'm so freaked out. They had started disconnecting me from my friends. I'm confused at what's happening. Like, I'm thinking, wow, why are my friends abandoning me? And they want you to think that. So I feel like I have no choice. I reach out to my sister because I had always known her phone number by heart. And so I called her, and we were always, we were close up until that point, or so I thought. And the conversation that occurred was horrific. It was traumatizing for me because she basically, I'm crying for help, saying I'm scared. I'm feeling like I'm going to die right now, and I need your help. And she basically was like, "Fuck you. The family wants to disown you." Just saying just horrific, just disgusting, nasty things to me that a sister should never say to a sister. And I was devastated after this call. I was like, I don't even understand what just happened here, because at that point, she and I had not had an issue that I was aware of. If anything, I had an issue with my mom and my dad for how they handled the situation with my grandpa and me. And we had other things kind of building up to that point of them not helping me. It's in the timeline, but so for her to say all this to me, it was out of left field. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, disown me? Like, what the hell did I do? Like, I need help, man. Like, I'm your fucking family. Help me. Like, and basically hung up on me that night too. And then when I tried to call back, wouldn't pick up. Like I say, devastated. And now feeling like, wow, I'm all alone right now. I have to do this shit on my own. I got to figure this out. And that's what they want. That's the whole point of why they do this type of maneuver. So it's, an interference in communication. And so that night, I might have talked to my sister, or another option is I might have talked to somebody that was impersonating my sister. And for the first first 3 years after that moment, I thought it was her. And I just, I felt so betrayed by my family. I was just like, how could they just abandon me like that? And they're the ones that abandoned me to begin with. How is this happening even more? Like, what? And you don't care that I could possibly die right now, and you're just gonna hang up? So then after realizing and seeing the continuation of friend after friend after friend, even therapists and, coworkers and things like that, people just leaving my life, no communication whatsoever. It was interesting because I was like, wow, I realized at one point that I had figured out there was impersonation happening and occurring. I wasn't aware of that. Wow, it was just 13:33 on the clock when I looked down. So that's confirmation, if you're listening to this, that this is for you. But yeah, I just remember a couple of people where they, we were able to figure it out from having conversations. This person was like, "Did you call me?" I was like, "No, I didn't call you." And then there was one time, same thing. And I was like, "Did you call me?" He's like, "I didn't call you." And then he tells me about a conversation that I had with him. And I was like, "That wasn't me." Same thing that happened, And so there were things like this and how you could figure it out, that that's what was occurring, that there was impersonations occurring. And this is, like I mentioned, this is Hacker 101, to get into your phone and redirect calls, forward your calls to people that will sound like you or sound like the people you're trying to connect with, and then say things so that you think they're abandoning you. And Yeah, so because that's how they want that interpretation for you to think they're abandoning you. But then they could potentially, if they're impersonating you to them, the purpose is to like make you look like you're either this drugged out person or you're mentally ill or you're whatever. Crazy. Just, that you're somebody that you're not. So, and that would be but at the same time, sometimes it's not even them. So the third option is that they're having another person on the end that's not the person who you think it is. And then that person says something to you, and this is where it goes to you thinking that you're getting abandoned by them, is because they'll basically just be like, I don't want to be your friend anymore or something. And you're just like, what? Random. This is out of nowhere. And why? And click, and then you try to call back, and then they don't pick up, and you're like, that's weird. This has never happened to me in my life, but why is this happening now, person after person after person? So that's something that occurs. And like I had mentioned, I realized this 7 years ago when gang stalking happened for me, and I have since learned how to rise above that. And that is something that I know how to do very well for myself now. I know how to be above that, and I know how to help other people get above that. So if it's something you deal with and you need help, reach out, man. I'll help you through that. Because it's actually much easier than you think it is. They don't want you to know that though. So, okay, that's the first part of this. The second part is going back to this part with my sister now. I didn't know for the first 3 years if that was, I thought it was her. And then I now think it's potentially an impersonator being her, because I knew that is an option. And now for me, that actually made more sense because of the things she was saying. I was like, she has never, my family has never spoken to me this way in my entire lifetime. And plus, I didn't warrant anything. I didn't do anything to warrant that type of response. And even if, like I mentioned, they still had never, it was not a typical way that I would have received a conversation from her. Even if she would have been upset with me, it was just way off. So the thought of it being an impersonator made more sense. And I had always told myself, God, I can't wait until I can get through my healing to a point, because my goal was always to get myself healed strong enough so that when I did finally immerse myself back into my family, prior to knowing that they were dysfunctionally toxic, narcissistic karmics, that I would have been able to accept them for who they are and not be triggered by anything that they would have thrown at me if they didn't want to heal, because I also wanted to offer them healing based off of what I have was able to do for myself. And this was before I knew that, you shouldn't do that. But at the same time, that's the whole point is, you heal and you can offer support for people that want to heal, right? And if they want that guidance, they would like that type of teacher. So I was always excited to the point where I was like, okay, when I get healed to that point and I get home, I can't wait to have this conversation with my sister, because I need to know, was this her? Was this an impersonator? And I'm hoping it was an impersonator, obviously, because that's my mind. We want to assume the better option as humans, right? So that all happened. So I had all this experience. Now coming back to the now and the recent moments of hearing that my mom had reached out to a subscriber. Like I mentioned, there wasn't much said about the conversation, which was weird. And I still have so many questions about that, but it's besides the point. It's the fact that if that occurred, there's a total of 3 options that it could be. I'm only going to talk about 2 tonight, though. So 1, it was her, and somehow my mom has become this savvy criminal underground piece of shit parasite, which we already know that's the case, but now it just makes her even more low, or even lower. The scum on the bottom of your shoe type of thing. So there's that, because wow, first of all, she had to find that out. how did you know that we were in communication? How did you figure out this you had to find out this person's last name, you had to find out this person's phone number, and you have that ability and or you know people. And this now brings me into, holy shit, I've been getting downloads and information that you have been behind this the whole time, that this has all been set up against me. And the stuff that did happen to me 7-8 years ago by these people that were sent into my life to gang stalk me and almost human traffic were potentially set up by my own family, which, you know, that was something that was never going to be a complete like thing for me to really go, yep, that occurred. But I've had lots of downloads about this and lots of guides speaking to me that this is something, and I just am like, I need more proof. I need more proof, you know, like I need more for sure, you know. Well, this could be the fucking for sure. So, but that's the one option is that it was her, and she's as nasty as I've been figuring out the past year. And it just keeps getting nastier and nastier. Second option is that she was somebody impersonated her, which now that to me seems more the option. But not that the first option is not a possibility, because it 100% could easily be. But I have been currently being attacked spiritually and by, you know, but like I mentioned, I have gotten to a place where they can't attack me anymore. So they're going to always, what's the next thing when they can't reach you? They're going to reach anybody else that is in communication with you. And if they have weak auric points of release, like addictions and things like that, where they can still try to, you know, enter into their auric field to access them, they're going to be an option then for connection with me. And they want to, again, going back to what was done before, they want to disconnect any support systems because we are stronger in numbers. And even though we are powerful enough as we are, once we remember who we are even more powerful once we start connecting with our soul tribe, right? And there's a reason that the chosen and the ones of us that have awoken are all spread out throughout the planet. It's because that was, what's the word? It was meant to be that way. It was designed that way. You know, because they didn't want us to all, you know, have a bunch of us all wake up close together and be like, hey, what's up? Let's group up. And now they're the powers that were and the, you know, the low level, low vibrational energies. They're going to be outnumbered. So, and this is why we can still do this in the way with us all being separated, but obviously we do become stronger when we can physically be together or, you know, physically start, you know, communicating and this and that as well. So, of course, that's an option. And that's, like I had mentioned, I have gotten myself to a place where fucking bring that shit on. I know how to alchemize and transmute energy. In fact, bring your fucking stupid energies into my space. I fucking dare you, bitches, because I will fucking just transmute that shit and change it into something super powerful for myself and make me even stronger. Yes, do it. And plus, I learn more skills in that. Like, and that's what's happening to me currently. That's one of the reasons, if you've been following me, why I've been dealing with some personal health issues right now is because I'm getting spiritually attacked right now, and they're hitting another area of my health that I'm transmuting it as we speak. But sometimes, you know, they just take time, and like it doesn't matter. Like I'll always, like, I accept anything that they want to bring my direction. Fucking bring that shit, bitches, for real. Like, ugh. But what happens is, like I'd mentioned, if they're going to try to disconnect anybody else that you try to connect with. And they can do this in ways by impersonating other people and making them think. And now they're going to start telling stories too and kind of, you know, messing with whoever they're trying to reach out to their mind. So in like this particular instance, this subscriber, like they if it's impersonators and or my mom, either one, they're trying to implant information that's untrue about me. I'm assuming, this is just off of experience and knowing how this shit works. So that's probably what's happening. Now, if this person's mind is weak, he's going to believe this shit and he's going to take that on and, whatever. And then, but if the reason that they can access that is if the auric field has weak open portal points, meaning like if there's certain addictions or codependencies that still need to be released, those are portal points. Those are points of allowing access into our energy space. And so then that makes us vulnerable targets for attacks. And now that person gets attacked with the potential to have it affect me. But again, will never affect me. If anything, if that person wants to believe that and then take that and run away with that, that wasn't actually a connection that was supposed to be potentially then. And that's what it is. Whatever. It is what it is. That's what this process is about, is finding the people that are actually on this journey that are trying to work together and be part of the collective and understand that we are all here to work together. And the reason we have to do all this work on ourselves is so that once we do start coming in contact with our soul tribe and with the collective, we are not a weak point within that collective. And then within the collective and becoming one of those entrance points for low vibrational energies to access into the energy spaces. But we are light, and light always wins over dark. And especially when you're a spiritual warrior that understands her power. So what we're going to do here now, because that was pretty much all I wanted to say, just FYI about that. Just everybody, if you're watching my channel, you are on an amazing upliftment right now for yourself, and just congratulations. Super excited for you, because it's getting ready to rock your world in such a great fucking beautiful way. And I'm excited and proud for you. But also know that you're potentially too one of the spiritual warriors that is meant to be on the front lines of this battle. And I'm going to go ahead and end this tonight with a protection or a judgment ritual that I'm going to put out. This is something I did already do on my behalf, as well as anybody that could be involved or any of the potential targets that could have been involved in this as well. And so what I'm going to do, so I'd just like to say though, really quickly, is that if you are, ready to be, you're in this space where, you're uplifting and you're getting a lot of these attacks, just know calling judgment right now is necessary. Definitely weekly, maybe potentially daily for yourself. And it's good for you to do it for yourself and for your spirit team, and for the collective. Because that if you're somebody who feels that you're called to be a spiritual warrior, that's part of the job, that's part of the duty. And it's very effective because I've watched it transpire. Sometimes it happens really quickly too. So the thing is that I feel bad for the people that end up trying to attack me or anybody that I do have contact with, because they receive instant and righteous karmic judgment like that. So it's to their detriment if they do. So here we go. 28:44 on the clock. This is confirmation. I call upon my spirit team and the Most High, as well as my judgment team and the 12th dimensional Christic light, eternal source, light energy, to cast instant and righteous karmic judgment upon the heads of all enemies, known and unknown, in spirit and in flesh, in sleep and awakened state, across all timelines, realms, in dimensions known and unknown. And so it is. That's just one thing that you can do to alchemize the energy, and it's universal law. When you call out judgment to the spirit realm, spiritual judgment is very, very powerful, and they handle things on our behalf. And we just need to be the voice to help alchemize that into existence, because that is the fear of the chosen awakening, is because they know once we understand what our powers are and how we can help the collective to uplift and, to become more bright within our light, that we are the ones that are going to end up taking over, and they're gonna, fall. The matrix is falling. So I hope that this was a little eye-opening, and I hope that if any of you are experiencing that, I always call on behalf of all the chosen and all the awakened collective. So just know that this is one spiritual warrior that has got your back. And for those of you that think that you're going to try to take me or any of us down, good luck. Keep sending that shit our way, dude, because I will alchemize and transmute the hell out of any energy. Like I say, send it, because it's fucking currency, dude. So thank you for watching. Sending infinite amounts of love, light, peace, and gratitude.